Hey guys, just a quick update today. Just want to talk about this market, especially the dollar right now, which is incredibly important. Probably the most important thing in the macro space is always the dollar. You got to start out your days with a chart with it. You know, like if you're a longer term trader, sure, you weekly, whatever you want to say, but the dollar is probably the most important piece of the equation every single day. And seeing that we're finally getting this break now, this is just a quick update from the last video I put up, which was the video on the dollar breakdown. Sorry, that's 2 videos ago. And when we're looking at the dollar breakdown, the dollar's collapsing. You know, I hate that term. It's great clickbait. You know, everybody will click on a video if you say the dollar collapsing, but really it's a dollar's breaking down, heading another direction. Let's not get too, oh my God, this is the end of the world, or the BRICS nations have taken over, or, you know, everybody's kind of going to be into that state. For me, I want to see, is the dollar gonna come down here and then all of a sudden turn around and break right back up to the upside? Now that would be a false breakdown signal. Get a false breakdown signal that would say something. I really wouldn't count that until we got all the way back over 102. But for now, I see that the trend is probably to the downside. This is a monthly chart, so this is a little bit more stretched out than I normally get, but I just want to show the big term piece of this. And this is a little bit more short term. This is the weekly chart. So as we're looking at the weekly chart, you see that that level of 101 got broken. 101.7 was a big level. I hate using even numbers when we talk about levels. Really, you know, the market doesn't care about even numbers. And also the market isn't something that, you know, a breakout is right here and this is here and this is here. You know, really a breakout's going to happen within a range. Support is a range. Resistance is a range. This is something to really take into account if, as a trader. Like, don't get too bogged down in, well, it broke here, or well, it, you know, it came down here and it went back, you know, like, just there's a big range here. Want to see it get back over that big range if it's going to go back to the upside. I'm saying that as a trader who's positioned for the dollar breaking down at the moment. I still have positions in the Mexican peso, the Great British Pound, the yen is a new one. The What else is there? I know the Swiss franc, the euro. A lot of these are bullish trend right now, kind of across the board. You know, even the Aussie dollar is getting there. You know, all of these things are really starting to look good. So if we're going to continue to see these breakdowns. We want to see, or breakdown in the dollar. We want to see those other currencies start to pick up as well. The euro being the heaviest weighting in it. The Great British Pound, you know, for me, like I have a million people who could tell me a million things that are wrong with Great Britain. I know that the price is heading a certain direction. I know that the macro makes it could make that happen. You know, I was just talking to a good friend of mine today about corn and how, you know, corn is kind of in this bearish moment where it could break down. And, you know, for me, if I'm seeing the dollar break down and I'm seeing the macro look the way it does, I'm not going to sit there and kind of go, hey, you know, corn is breaking down, it's the end of the world. You know, I'm kind of going to think corn probably, if it does break down, probably doesn't have much to go to the downside. The dollar starts crashing. I can't see ags just continuing to crash as well. Most of these ags will start to pick up and start to look to the upside. Most of this week has been pretty good for ags across the board. Um, I like how this is looking. I like how our trades are shaking out at the moment. You can see how we're positioned using the cycle video. And also, just a quick update, I do have the website is now up, Against All Odds Research, aaoresearch.com. Substack is now up as well. Medium is up as well. So I just wanted to update some people on what's been going on there. Now, here we're looking at some what's going on in the COT reports. So we see that the euro is in an uptrend, and the COT reports are still screaming for some upside here. So let's take a look at it a little bit closer. Now here's the euro. The euro really bottomed out over here. Commercials got long, but interesting enough, we are seeing that open interest is going lower. That's usually a good sign of if COTs are going to actually work. We're seeing a little bit of a bump here, nothing crazy. But at the same time, we are 100, nearly 100% on COT, the COT index. Check out how that works. Looking through Larry Williams stuff, he has some videos on it. Very good stuff there. But I think that we could see more upside in these, especially if we start to get over these ranges here. You know, the yen, part of the reason why the trade started to get put on was started to see extremely long commercials here. You know, we've seen this whole time. We saw this engulfing weekly pattern. We've only moved higher today. I can see the yen starting to trend up here. The yen is a very tough currency to trade, but when it trends, that thing can fucking trend. So, you know, we want to be interested in the yen. So looking at metals. Now here's copper. So what we did see is a lot of commercial buying at that bottom that happened in 2022. And then as the year went on, commercials started selling heavily. And now they're buying heavily again. They put in that bottom there. I could see copper being another good one to keep paying attention to at the moment. Now, coffee, I did notice coffee commercials did get to net long again. We're not quite as bullish on coffee as I'd like to be. I don't think it's a trade at the moment. I think it's something to wait on. I want to see this get to an extreme point. I want to see us start to get to here, you know, and if we can get to there, I'm going to be a little bit more bullish on coffee. Now, the grains are also something that's been really interesting lately. Soybean oil has been along for us for a little while. This has worked out really well. Very strong trend here, continuing to move higher. This is all what you want to see. It's not about going, okay, they're net long or net short. It's about where are the extremes. Here's an extreme. Here's a good point in there. It's not always, you know, we're going to be all the way up here. Some of these, you know, sometimes the commercials never get net long. Sometimes they never get net short. You have to just know that commodity, run through these over and over again until you understand them well. Looking at this next one now, this is corn. Corn looks really good as well. Same thing. Chart looks like shit. Not saying the chart looks good. I'm saying that commercials are starting to buy. We're starting to get to these types of levels again. Once again, though, I'd like to see us get some serious commercial buying in corn, and then I would be long it. I'd be looking more into it at that point. At the moment, sit on the sidelines. Wheat looked very good, had all the hallmarks of a very good trade setup. Once again, we see that we got to extremes. I still think that wheat is just pulling back here and going to move up higher. Fundamentals behind it, supply and demand numbers and so on. Everything really looks great in wheat. Now, out of all these last couple weeks, you know, soybeans, one that hasn't had much strength at all, is trying to put in a bottom here. Once again, I want to see us get some extremes in this. I want to at least see the commercials get to this area. Open interest is dropping. We're near 100%. I think we'll see commercials start to come in and buy, and that'll tell us something about all of these grains at the moment. There's just so much going on in that space. Now, coming into stockchart.com, I just wanted to go through a few charts in here. Like I said, this is just a short video, quick update, but I'm just going to go through a couple things right now. The copper to gold ratio, you're seeing copper, you know, we're still moving to the downside. It isn't pretty, it isn't decisive, but we are still moving to the downside here. I like these lower highs. You know, this is what I've been saying, and my big thought about the markets lately is that we're looking at a situation where bonds could start to move up again. Flight to safe haven, you know, this usually happens, like, once again, like, everybody's stuck on it's got to be a recession or it's not a recession. It's got this is happening or this isn't happening. When you get in things of black and white, trading will be tough for you. You know, it'll always be tough if you're looking at things in black and white. If you are looking at it and going, well, I see that bonds could move higher here. I think these things in the market should do well. You'll put on all of these trades, you'll get buy signals in these things, they'll come in, don't just buy everything, just wait for the price to actually confirm your thesis. And then once the price starts to confirm, yeah, you can jump in there and start to put on some of these positions. But don't do it any quicker than that. But also, if you're looking at it just in a linear way and going, okay, well, anything can happen here. Like I can't say that the Nasdaq did go up a ton, and most of the time bonds usually go with the Nasdaq. Most of the time, this time it did not. Bonds have been flat though; they're not moving higher. Also, gold tends to do well in this environment. It did very well for a while, and then it kind of chilled. It stopped. Now, most of the time, these things catch up to each other. Bonds could start to move up here. Gold could finally break its 2100 level. All these things could start to happen, but we have to be open to any of these possibilities and also waiting for the price to confirm what we're looking at. Another chart. Let's go to Bitcoin. So looking at Bitcoin, I pointed out that major resistance level. We did peak above it for a second. We came back. I still think this is, spot on for what we're seeing. Where I love this type of consolidation over major resistance. Let's pull that over here a little bit. And I love that consolidation over major resistance, and I'll tell you why. Most of the time when that happens, you get this thing coming up here and it's saying that this level is done. More people are interested in up here. They're not even letting it go much lower. And also the other thing is now we have low volatility. Those Bollinger Bands are starting to squeeze on top of this wild setup. Now a squeeze can't tell you direction. The squeeze is just going to tell you, hey, we're squeezing here. We're either going to break down like we did there, or we're going to move to the upside, because low volatility leads to high volatility. That's incredibly important when you're trading. So right now we're back in this low volatility range. We're moving sideways, but we're hanging out over support. As long as we're hanging out over there, buying right here, if you don't already have a position, we're already long Bitcoin, but if you don't already have a position, I'd wait for a breakout of that 32,000 level. If you got over that 32,000 level, that'd be a good breakout zone, and that'd be probably another leg up, probably to about 40,000 at that point. So love the way Bitcoin looks right now. Still very interested in Bitcoin, still long Bitcoin. Nothing is changing there at the moment. Natural gas, well, we talked about that in one of our recent videos. So natural gas has kind of looked the same for a while. However, as it has looked the same, we are starting to see this bottoming formation kind of come in here. Now, people would say, oh, it's a head and shoulders, or that's this. To me, it's consolidation. We're consolidating. We're hanging out in the same range. It's trying to get above it. If we start to get above this 2.95 level, we could be in the next uptrend in natural gas. For the moment, there's nothing wrong with sitting out on the sidelines and waiting for this trend to actually show itself. It was a short for a while. Will be a long again probably soon. Now, lumber has been interesting because if you look at the futures contracts, they look much different than the chart looks. So I'm just going to move on from that. Maybe I'll make another video and show you guys the difference. The ticker for lumber has changed recently, so maybe that's having something to do with the lag in that at the moment. We'll see though. Sugar is still trendy. It's still moving higher to the upside. Still looks good. This is an old chart. I used to use this chart deck to update people. I will start using it again, but some of these drawings will be old. They'll look a little bit weird, so just FYI. But sugar did pull back and moved up last week. It's moving up again. Once again, it's an uptrend. I'm staying the fuck out of the way. I'm staying long, and I'm moving up stops. So here's all the yields at the moment, and what we're seeing is that the 1 year is getting way above everything else. You know, this is 1 month and 3 month bonds. So white is the 1 month bond, purple is the 3 month bond. These are closely tied to the Fed funds rate. So as the Fed fund rate has ran up there, and now it's at, you know, around 5.5. We're sitting there and looking at it and going, okay, well, is everything else going to follow it, or are things going to start to finally break down? You know, the 30 years not making higher highs. The 10 years not making higher highs. I do think yields are going to come down, but once again, the topping patterns in yields can take a long time at times. You know, that sometimes they run sideways for a very long time. I wouldn't be surprised to see it run sideways for a bit longer. But we need to keep an eye on it. This is one of the other most important inputs in the macro space, the dollar and then yields. What's going on with yields? What are people willing to do with their money, and where is risk at? This is all very important. So emerging markets, this is also an area I like. I want to be long it. I think it's something that I'm going to look more at. Okay, this started to move. It had a good move. It was a long. That moved sideways. We just got a new buy signal again yesterday. So as this has a buy signal, I'm long it again. I'm going to continue to stay long emerging markets. I think it's a good place to be at the moment. And boiling it down individually, going into these individually and going, okay, South Korea, Mexico, and so on. Like, there's even better trades in that. And if I was you, I'd be looking that direction. Japan, so many people have said different things about Japan lately. It's always been a emotional market. Everybody has feelings about it, what they do with their monetary policy, and so on. I just see that we have another uptrend. You know, we're moving up nicely. Yeah, that's a weekly. Let's look at a daily to narrow it down a bit longer. So here we go, kind of from that October bottom. We've just been trending up, you know, like I like Japan. And the good thing to look at in the macro space, if you are looking at the US markets and you see Japan is running the same way, most of the time that's a good steady trend. Japan can kind of tell us how our markets will be doing in the United States as well. Let's look at semiconductors. So semiconductors here, once again, let's clean up that chart. I'm noticing, you know, we're same type of thing. We're seeing that we're breaking all the way to the upside in semiconductors. We're noticing that it is getting close to those old highs, could break higher. Some of the indexes for semiconductors are already at new highs. Some of the stocks are at new highs. Semiconductors has been a great place to be. It's one of our trades in our trade book and our long-term portfolio. As you see here, you know, that's a 60% move, nearly 60% up there. You know, it's been a great trade, very solid, coming off that bottom in October, and, you know, getting into the next year, you know, it's still nearly a 50% move. I think, you know, our buy signals didn't come in till this year, but, you know, that's a 50% move. We don't care about catching perfect bottoms. We're trying to catch the meat in the middle. The meat in the middle is the trade. This is not the trade. If you buy here, you're going to get shaken out. You're going to go crazy when this dropped another 20% or 10, 15%. But if you're buying in an uptrend, these pullbacks are a lot nicer. They're a lot smoother. And when they did start getting choppy and bigger, that's when the trend changed. And then finally, let's take a look at energy. Energy is now in a buy signal again. You know, for me, long-term portfolio never went out of a buy signal. We've just been consolidating for a very long time. It's very frustrating to hold positions like that, I know. But at the same time, long-term portfolios, our goals aren't to make money every single day. Our goals is to make money every year and be positioned right year after year. I don't even give a shit about making money every year. You can't really keep that in mind. That's like going like, hey, you know, This is consolidating and isn't breaking to the upside, but I'm positioned well. I think if you're always positioned well, because this is just one position, this is one of many positions. You should easily be able to have, 20 positions in a long-term portfolio if it has the right size to do so. So if you have 20 positions, you can let things consolidate for a little while, give it a break for a bit. And if your positions aren't oversized and you're not too leveraged and you're not using options, you can absolutely sit for a while. But in futures, I'm a trader. So yes, once it started to consolidate, I'm out of that position. But now we're back in it. Starting to get some moves to the upside, starting to get buy signals. Right now we have a short-term and medium-term buy signal, still waiting on another long-term buy signal in the futures portfolio. But I really like energy. We are long it once again. All right, everybody. Hope everybody has a good week. Just want to update everybody on what I'm doing. Everything is updated for Substack. Everything is on the website and so on. Subscribers, you will be getting more information. You'll be getting trade ideas and so on. I will continue to put up information as we go forward. I will be updating quite a bit more. So everybody I haven't been around enough lately, I will be around now. So you will be seeing me once a week, possibly more. All right, guys. Hope you have a good one.